a recipe for a lamb pie, which is delicious. So it's lamb and it's feta, and there's some greens in there, and there's some red onion, and there's some pepper, and there's going to be some cumin as well, because cumin works particularly well with lamb. So we'll go around the ingredients. I'm not sure about exact quantities, but we'll kind of wing it. We've got some greens. I've got some spinach. Well, better have this underneath. I don't want to put it on the pastry. So we've got some spinach. No, it's not spinach. It's stinging nettles, which I've cooked and squeezed all the water out of them. And we've got some rocket. There's about 800 grams of weight of greens. Spinach will be fine. It's just that I happen to have stinging nettles in the fridge, and I've got some. I was given some rocket yesterday. I'll show you how I cook the rocket. It'll be at the end of the video because it's a bit boring. Well, it's not boring, but it doesn't need to be here. And then we've got 400 grams worth of cooked onions. So it's 400 grams of raw onions, and then I've cooked them down. I'll squeeze all the excess juice out of the onions, and I'll squeeze the juice out of the greens as well. We've got 200 grams of feta. I've already put some pepper in just for the sake of ease, and then we've got 350 grams worth of cooked lamb, which was a bit of an experiment. So we need to mix all that together. So I don't want to kind of, yeah, and there's pastry. So and then there's like 500. I've got 500 grams worth of a Filo type pastry which I've made, and I've rolled out on the pasta machine there. So it's Filo's kind of not particularly cheap, so I was kind of like a bit of an alternative. So I kind of made a Filo. It was a bit of a faff, and it kind of went wrong a little bit. Did the Filo recipe, so I couldn't exactly tell you how it is. But what I'll do in the description is I'll work out how much Filo that you need to buy, and at some point in the future I'll make a video on making Filo and faffing around that kind of stuff. So we need to combine all that together. And also what I've done is, I've got a tray. It's actually a pizza tray, so it's got lots of holes in the bottom of it, so the pizzas get crisp, which I find works really well for a pie. So I put some of the Filo pastry, I've already rolled it out, and I've covered the bottom of the pie in the Filo. So that's already pre-done, and then so we just need to mix all this up, and we need some cumin as well. So about a teaspoon of cumin. I think there's going to be too much filling here for the amount of pastry that I've got, but I'll work out the ratios and how much you can need. I've written the recipe down for it somewhere, but I just can't find it, and there might not be enough. We might need to put some more Filo in this mixture as well, but we might be okay. Yeah, I think we might need some more Filo, some more feta. So it's already smelling nice. It's lamb and it's cumin just work particularly well together, and the greens and the onions, and it's a particularly nice pie. It's a little bit like a well, you'll see in a minute, but it's a little bit like a Greek inspired the Greek people, doesn't sound right, does it? The people of Greece make pies which are greens in Filo pastry, and they're lovely. But I just kind of think the addition of cheese and lamb and some red onion and a bit of cumin turns it into something else. And the way we're going to make it, we're not going to put it like make it like a proper pie. We're going to just change it slightly. Do I want some more cheese in that? I think so. I think I want a little bit more cheesy than that. Or do I? Do I not? I don't want to put too much cheese in. I probably want a little bit more cheese. Do I really want to put some more cheese in? I'm not sure. How's it going to look when we put it on here? Is there going to be enough cheese in that? We want some more cheese. I'll pause the video and we'll put some more cheese in. The video started, but anyway. So I've added another 200 grams of feta. That's way too much filling for the amount of pie, for one pie. But I'll work out ratios. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of make a sausage type of thing. What we need to do is we need to take the mixture, spray over the Filo like this, not in one place, just dotted about place, and then we're going to roll up the Filo ish Filo-ish pastry, and make a long tube, and then we're going to put the tube in a big circle into the pie. It's a big long bit of phyllo, so I'm just, it looks like I'm not doing anything, but I'm actually at the other end of the phyllo. So you don't want to put too much filling in, because what we're going to do is we're going to roll it up into a long sausage. And we don't want it too close to the top, because we want a crispy. You'll see. I'm not doing a very good job of explaining. We could just be watching and seeing what I'm up to. So, that there, that. So everything's just kind of dotted around rather than just one clump. Which is going to make it a little bit more interesting. And then what we do is we take the edge, and we're going to roll it up into a sausage shape type of thing. So just go a bit further up here as well. I just need a bit more filling there. It's going to seem like a bit of a faff. You don't have to do this. You don't even have to make it. But it's delicious. So start it off, and then we're going to roll it up like this, like that. Oh, it's stuck a little bit, but that doesn't matter. A few tears won't make too much of a difference. Like this. Lots of meat off camera, not really doing much. Not sounding like I'm doing much anyway. So, further like that. Roll up, roll up. I should have really made a smaller piece of the phyllo, but you can see what I've done, and I've done this right the way along the pie. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the sausage. We just need to, you'll see one in a minute, but don't go right to the edge, because those bits are going to become really crispy on the top. It'll just make it look even nicer, and nice crunchy bits of pastry on the top. Who doesn't like those? Well, there'll be some people who don't, but it's going to look nice anyway. Yeah, I really should have done a shorter length of this phyllo-ish pastry, but we live and learn, don't we? Or do we? Or do we carry on making the same mistakes over and over and over again? So that's that. I'll cut it just to make it a little bit more manageable, I think. And then we're going to start in the centre. So what I'm going to do is we'll just move that there. We don't need that just yet. We're going to roll it up like this, like that, like that. Let's just make it a little bit more manageable. Like that. Hopefully I've got enough pastry. Roll it up like this, so it looks a little bit like a rose. And then we're going to plonk it into the centre of the pie like that. That goes into the centre. Maybe I should have started on the outside, but it doesn't matter. And then will this move? Yes, this will move. I'm going to take the next piece and start there and just roll this around. If it tears, it doesn't matter. So we'll just, it's not particularly easy to move around, and that, so that there, that there, squish it in a bit, that there, and then what I'm going to do is I'll do the same process again, and we'll work our way out, but you get the idea of what I'm doing. So I'll do the same process again, and then that'll be the next circle. So as you can see, I've got way too much filling. I've been eating this all week, but it doesn't matter. So that's that. So I'll run out the next bit, and then we'll come back when we need to, when I'm putting it all together, and you can kind of see. Right, so you can see what I've done. I've done some more of the phyllo, and I've filled it all out now in, and then we're just going to brush the top with a bit of beaten egg, which will make it go nice and crispy, and then we're going to finish it off with some cumin seeds on top, just so they'll toast and they'll become nice and fragrant. I suppose this is lamb's an okay price at the moment. It's never cheap as lamb, never cheap, but it's an okay price at the moment. So it's a spring summer dish is this, or a good way of using up some. Say if you've had a lamb shoulder for Sunday dinner, or a leg of lamb, and you've got a bit of lamb left over, it's a good way of making it go a little bit further. So that's that. And then we just need some cumin seeds, or some nigella seeds works really well, or some black onion seeds. Or is that what nigella seeds are? I think maybe, I can't remember. But we put cumin in. So cumin is what we're going to use, or just some cracked black pepper on top as well. That'll be fine. It just gives a little bit of extra flavour. So those there, and then what's going in the hot oven. Well, hottish, 180 for half an hour or so. I'll write it all down and just, yeah, we'll see. Well, I'll tell you how long it's been in for when it comes out. And I've just pushed the pastry back there, so that'll. The pie is ready. 35 minutes, nice and golden on top. Smells delicious. We just need to whip it out of here, and then we can chop it on the board. And you can see what pan I've used. It's a pizza pan, so it's like that. So it's just really good for making pies, because the heat gets through the bottom of the pie thing and makes the bottom of the pie crispy. So that could be today's top tip. And then, so I reckon, what we got? Six really generous portions. 8 less, depends on what you're going to eat it with. But nice and crispy. The cumin smells great. And then, so we'll pretend it's going to feed 8 people. It's not, it's going to feed me for a couple of days. So like that. So nice size portions. I'll do the size of the tray and all that kind of stuff in the description. A revised recipe, because I've got some filling left over. I've got like 300 grams of filling left over. So then you can kind of see there. Can you see? We'll move the camera. We'll pause the camera, because if I don't pause it, it'll fall over. And then you can get a better idea of what it's like inside the pie. But it's like spiraled. It looks good, but hang on. So there we go. We can actually see what it's like, and it's kind of like spiral. So you've got the different sausages, and you can see them, and it's got the nice filling and the cheese, and it's just really nice. You don't have to put lamb in it. You can just make it with the greens and the feta and the red onion, or you don't have to put the greens in. You can just make it with lamb and feta and the cumin and the red onions, and that's just as nice as well. So you can make it vegetarian if you like, or put any kind of filling in that you want. What filling you're going to put in? So what I would recommend that you do is you tot up the weight of the ingredients that I put in into the one pie, and then that's the weight of the ingredients that you need to, what flavour combinations you want to put it in. So if you want to do like Mediterranean vegetables, like roasted peppers and onions, and tomatoes and aubergines and courgettes, and make it like a vegetarian pie, you would just need to tot up how much the weight of the filling is that I've used, and then that's be the weight of the filling that you put in your pie. That type of thing. It'd be like the cooked weight as well. But anyway, there you go. I don't know where I got the idea from. It's like Greek, Turkish type of thing, but it's really nice. It's delicious, and you know, a bit of a faff. But if you want something different to do, and it's a way of making use of leftover lamb or leftover meat type of thing, and making it go a little bit further and get a little bit more for your money type of thing. But anyway, it's delicious. Give it a go. So I've been given some rocket, and it's 500 gram bag. It's getting to the stage where it's not gonna. Tomorrow it might be a little bit too ropey to use, so I'm going to cook it today, and then it will keep in the fridge for a couple of days, and then I'll be able to use it rather than waste it. It's just starting to get a little bit bruised, and as soon as it starts to get a little bit bruised, it starts to want to go rotten. Yeah, like rotten. So I'm going to cook it, and I'm going to use it in a dish. So this video will be part of that video. I'll put it in somewhere. I might put it in at the end. So it's 500 grams of rocket, and I'm not entirely sure. I can't remember the recipe off the top of the head what I'm going to use. So we're going to cook this 500 grams of rocket. We're going to cool it down. We're going to squeeze the excess water out of it, and then I'm going to weigh it, and then we'll have an idea. Rocket's kind of quite peppery, so I'm a little bit concerned that I don't want to use all rocket in this recipe. So I might be using. I've got some nettles in the freezer, so it might be like half nettles, half rocket. But this is the bit when I'm talking about cooking. Things like rocket and spinach and nettles and some cabbages, what we do is we wash them, and then in a dry pan we just wilt them down, and then it removes some of the excess water. It cooks them, which is just going to make them last just that little bit longer in the fridge. So it'll last, and it's a good way to freeze it as well. So if you've got like a big crop of rocket or spinach or nettles or something like that, and you want to kind of preserve it, the best way to do it is to cook it and then freeze it. You can't use it in salads afterwards, but you can use it in cooked dishes. It's just one of those useful things to have. So as you can see, it's dropping already, and the rocket at the bottom is already cooked, so that there has already started to cook. So we're just going to cook it some more until it's all cooked. There's enough. I washed it, it needed washing, and then I used the salad spinner to get rid of the excess water from it, and any kind of muck and that type of stuff. And then there's enough residual water on the rocket to cook it by steaming. So it's dead easy. It's just that I think, there we go. It takes up less space this way as well. I mean, you're not going to be able to use it in a salad, but if you wanted to cook it and then freeze it and then use it in a curry, dead easy, and it will defrost quite quickly from frozen. So we're almost there. A big lump of it that's cooked, so that bit there is cooked. We just need to wait for the other leaves to cook down quite quickly. But it doesn't take long. I mean, also you could, so you could use it in a curry or in a pasta dish. It'd also be okay with that. Just a quick case of cooking it in, tossing it into the pasta last minute from frozen, and then you wouldn't really be able to tell that it'd been used from frozen. So as you can see, it's lost loads of its water. So we'll turn that off because it's cooked now. So we'll give it a bit of a squeeze with the tongs, and that'll get rid of some of the water, and then it'll cool down quicker. But we're going to put it on a tray and we'll spread it out, and then it'll cool down a lot quicker because it's got a larger surface area to cool down. If just to leave it in a big ball, it would take longer to cool down and we'd lose some of that vibrant kind of colour, which is not what we want. We want to keep that colour. So that there. Those bits out. So you can see how much water came out of the rocket, and it's the same for spinach, and it's the same for things like nettles or greens or anything like that. It's just a quick and easy way of cooking things. So spread this out on the board. I haven't got asbestos fingers, I'm just lightly touching the rocket like that. So that, and then just let it cool, and then we'll come back, we'll put it in the cloth, and we'll squeeze any excess moisture out of it, and then it'll keep in the fridge for three days, and it'll keep in the freezer for much longer. So there we go. I think that's it. Yeah, I think we'll probably, there's quite a lot of rocket there. I'm not sure how much of the rocket I'll use. I'll look at the recipe, but this is something I'm doing before I'm actually doing the recipe. So I just need to do it, and I'm a little bit unprepared. But there we go. So in the video, I'll be talking about cooking the rocket and nettles if I decide to use the nettles, and this bit of the video it'll show you how to do it. If you don't know. If you do know, that's a good thing. But there. So that will cool down quickly. I'll come back, we'll use a cloth, we'll squeeze the excess moisture out, because I want it quite dry. So it'll just get rid of the excess moisture and it'll be left with something that's a little bit easier and takes even less space in the fridge or the freezer. Right, so the rocket has cooled down enough that it's not going to burn my hands to squeeze out the excess moisture from it. So we need an old cloth that we don't really care about. You should always kind of have these kind of cloths in the kitchen. Tea towels that you're not particularly bothered about. They're not, I know some people have the best tea towels on show, but you kind of need some old tea towels just to kind of do rough and ready jobs in. So it's just a case of putting them in the cloth. This one's got a bit of a hole there, so we just need to be careful of that. So we just need to ball it up, group the cloth around it. Not too big a ball, because obviously too big a ball you're not going to be able to squeeze as much. It's going to take more grip strength to squeeze the moisture out. So smaller balls, and then you'll be able to squeeze plenty of water out. So just a case of squeeze, and you'll see all that liquid coming out. Also as well, some greens and things can be a little bit bitter. So like rocket's kind of quite peppery, and cabbages and things can be kind of quite, the dark greens can be kind of quite bitter. By squeezing the juice out like this, you actually get rid of some of the bitterness. You're getting rid of flavour as well, and you're getting rid of nutrients. But just so like that, and then you will see we're left with this ball that just needs to go in a container in the fridge or the freezer, and it can be used in a couple of days' time. So I've taken something that I got for free. I was on the market and I was buying some other stuff, and I know the guy who's got the stall, and he was just like, it was the end of the day, and he was just like, I've got this big bag of rocket, can't sell it, and he gave it to me free. It's one of the benefits of getting to know people and shopping locally, that you tend to pick up bargains and people save you things and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so rocket, spinach, nettles, greens, cabbages, you can do the same thing.